In this series, Raikourider and myself will be opening 24 packs or 1 box of a core Yu-Gi-Oh set. We will continue to open a set in chronological order week after week. We will use these cards to construct a deck and then face off against each other in a best 2 out of 3 match. Each match will have 3 prizes up for grabs, with 2 prizes going to the winner and 1 going to the loser. These prizes can range from individual wildcards, to starter or structure decks, to sealed booster packs, or even event cards that were only handed out at select tournaments. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. Between the ever-evolving nature of the Forbidden and Limited list, the cards that we ourselves choose to remove from the game, and the way that the game itself changes throughout the years, all of our matches will increase in complexity and also remain fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Hey everybody, Demon Battler here. So, before we get into the start of the Generation Force episode, there's actually a few things that Raikourider and I discussed and that we need to talk with you about. We have 3 things that we need to go over. The first is regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's Era, which is the set from Generation Force through Primal Origin, and this is the set that introduced the Xyz monsters. Now, for those of you who know of the anime, there's a subset of the Xyz monsters known as the Number Monsters. These monsters were very important for the plot, and as a result, they actually had some key effects that don't translate to the TCG. Specifically, they could not be destroyed by card effects, and they couldn't be destroyed in battle except for with another Number Monster. So Raikourider and I decided to go along with a similar rule for our little gimmick for this set. However, we've decided to make a slight change. So, from the start of Generation Force through the end of Primal Origin, all Number Xyz monsters will have the following effect. If this Xyz summon card would be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, except by battle with or by the effect of another Number Xyz monster, you could detach a material from this card instead. You can only activate the effect of this specific Number monster once per turn. Basically, this allows us to limit the number of times our Number monsters get protection, while at the same time also giving them a little bit of protection like the anime had. So, with that out of the way, now we need to discuss the changes to our wheels. So, we realize that the tournament packs have kind of been a bit of a pity prize more than anything. In fact, since I want to say it was Tournament Pack 7, neither of us have really made an effort to pull from these packs. So we decided we're going to make a slight change to that. First off, we're going to remove the Tournament Pack wedges from the wheels entirely. And instead, at the start of each episode, we're going to open 3 packs of the appropriate Tournament Pack, Champion Pack, Turbo Pack, Astral Pack, whatever, that we're going to have access to for this episode before we open up the set itself. So for today, we're going to start with opening up 3 packs of Turbo Pack 6, and then we're going to go into the Generation Force packs. And finally, we decided to make a change regarding side sets. So this is around the time where Konami started releasing a lot of different side sets, since they don't really do reprint sets anymore. So what we decided to do was make the following changes in that regard. First, the number of packs we get for every quote-unquote helping of side sets is going to get buffed from 3 packs to 6. The reason for that is because a lot of these side sets also have archetypes that on their own are pretty decent, but you have to pull a lot of that specific archetype in order to make use of it. So this way, the battle packs, the side sets in general, will be a little more useful as opposed to just random garbage cards. Second, we're going to make a slight adjustment in terms of the crafting system. Specifically, we're going to be able to make cards from the craft system. We're going to be able to craft cards from the side sets. However, there are a few restrictions. The first is that the side set still has to fall within the 8 core set timeline. So we can't go back to something like, say, Jaden Pack 1 right now and reprint, and craft a card from there. So, we have to keep that in mind, and we have to be mindful of the timeline. The second thing is, the card has to be exclusive to a side set, a reprint set, or some kind of other method. It can't be released in a core set. So a card like Dandelion, for example, originally came out as a prize card, and then an SGC card, so it's okay. Whereas Cyber Dragon came out in Cybernetic Revolution, which was a core set, so we're not going to be able to craft a Cyber Dragon out of this set, for example. And then finally, we've decided to make an adjustment regarding our wheels. In terms of, since we're removing the tournament pack wedges, we're going to have a few changes to our wheels. The first is, since we're removing the tournament pack wedge, we need to fill up that space. Filling up that space means that we're going to have a slight increase to the wildcard any and wildcard any 3 card slots. Basically, both of these are going to get a slight increase in their odds, and then in the space where the wildcard any 3 cards wedge used to fill, we're going to add a new card, Wildcard Starlight. Basically, this card is going to allow you, in a similar vein to Cimoooooooo series, to craft a card from anywhere in the game up to that point. But that also means for us that we can use it on anything outside of a core set. So if it's a video game promo, from a Shonen Jump promo, to something that was received at a YCS or a prize card, we're allowed to make use of that and craft it without restriction. So, we're going to try to make that happen, to make that interesting, and to kind of keep things a little more balanced. So, we're going to see what happens. If it comes to it, we can always adjust it later down the road again, but until then, we're going to go into Generation Force and see what happens, so we'll stay tuned. Alright, so here we are in Generation Force. We took ourselves a little break and we enjoyed it, but now it's time for us to get back into the swing of things. And this set is our first one. It introduces the Xyz monsters to us, which is going to be an interesting concept. However, the nice thing about this compared to Duelist Genesis is that even if we don't pull an Xyz monster, we have plenty of extra deck monsters to work with as a backup, which is nice. So, this set introduced in August of 2011, and this actually introduced quite a couple of important archetypes. In addition to the typical Xyz monsters, it included cards from the Wind-Up archetype, which are a series of monsters that have effects that work one time while they're face up, and then they can flip back face down, usually, and get their effect again. There is an infamous hand loop with some of these monsters. Hopefully we do not have to deal with that. And they also introduce what end up becoming known as the onomatopoeia monsters, such as the Go-Go-Go's, the Ah-Cha-Chas, the Ga-Ga-Gas. Basically those monsters that all make different sound effects for their names. Many of them were introduced starting with this set. So let's run through some of the important comments here. First things first, Goblinberg is actually a pretty notable one because of the fact that when it's summoned, you could special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand and then switch this monster to defense mode. Basically, this means that if you summon him, you have yourself a free rank 4 right from the jump, which is pretty good. Looking down more, we see a lot of the wind-ups. We have Soldier, we have Wind-Up Dog, we see Geargiano, which actually might make a difference down the road. Geargiano can tribute to special summon a level 4 machine type monster in the graveyard, which actually is kind of notable for later down the road, and honestly, it'll be fun if we could get that. Then we have a lot of support here for the wind-ups, we have support for the crash bugs that come in this set, we have support for water monsters and fish monsters specifically. There's just a whole lot of generalized support for a lot of different archetypes here. And then you look up into the rares here, and really, again, you see more support in general. You see O-Fish, which works out as a good trap card to help with fish decks. If you shuffle a banished fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster into your deck, you can negate a monster effect's activation and destroy it, which is actually pretty solid. Unfortunately, he did ban Swap Frog, so a lot of our aqua decks are going to be limited in power, but it's still a considerable card to work with. Sea Lancer is another one. Unfortunately, getting the archetype going for it is going to be a lot harder without Swap Frog, but it's not impossible, so we can always pay attention and think about that. Looking up into the super rares, this is where we start to see some of the more notable cards from the anime. Gagaga Magician is actually a pretty good one. It lets you basically modulate his level to fit what he needs. However, he can't be used as a synchro material, which kind of sucks. And then you have Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark, which is a generic level 3 or rank 3 that has the effect that you can deal 100 damage for each of your banished monsters, which isn't too bad, but it's not necessarily a giant powerhouse of a card on its own. And then you look down into the ultra rares, and this is where a lot of the power cards are in. We have number 17 Leviathan Dragon, which is basically one of the key cards we're going to want to see. And then we also have Terror Bite, which is actually not too bad of a card itself, because you could detach a material to take control of an attack monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn, which is kind of nice. And then Leviair the Sea Dragon is probably the other big Xyz here. Once per turn, you could detach a material and then take a banished level 4 or lower monster and special summon it to your field. The nice thing is, this means that you don't have to pick a monster that you banished. You could have a monster that your opponent has banished, which is kind of convenient. So if we see Leviair, that's going to be nice as well. And then finally, scrolling into the secret rares, really none of them are amazing in their own right. Now, granted, Adria's Keeper of Armageddon is pretty good because once per turn you could detach a material to pop a face-up card on the field that your opponent controls. The problem is it requires 2 level 5 monsters, which are a little harder to summon. But overall, the set looks pretty interesting. Now, before we get into it though, we have to go ahead and talk about Turbo Pack 6, because, as we mentioned earlier, we're going to start each episode from now on opening 3 packs of the relevant Turbo Pack, Astral Pack, whatever pack, and then going into the main set. So, looking at Turbo Pack 6, this actually has some pretty solid cards in it. The ultimate rare is Dark Arm Dragon, which I believe at the moment is still limited, and Ryan and I both have one anyway, but still a good pickup if we could get it. Sangan's are ultra rare, which is kind of okay, but again, we both have one anyway, so it's not that big a deal. Looking into super rares, really nothing too spectacular there, and then the rares and commons are actually what are pretty good. For the rares, we see a Zombie Master, Stardust Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, another Black Garden, so if we get a third of these, that could actually work out nicely for us. Armory Arm is here, which means Rai has a chance of getting that, which kind of bites. And then the commons, Cypher Soldier and Green Cap are 2 of the big ones we want to see. Cypher Soldier is the Kinetic Soldier we have before, just getting a new name, and we have 1 copy of this. If we could get more than 1 copy and he runs a warrior deck, this could be really helpful. And then Green Cap is actually a pretty nice little flip effect monster that has the effect of targeting 2 set spell and traps on the field and destroying them, which is kind of nice. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and open up our 3 packs here real quick, see what we get. First pack, we get a Green Kappa, which is good to see. Golem Dragon is kind of whatever, and then Elector, Sovereign of Birds. Not very good of a card itself, but that's no big deal. Second pack, okay, we get another Elector, which kind of bites. We get a Gemini Spark, which is cool, but we don't really need it. And Battle for Artemis, I think we already have a playset of. And third pack, flip it up, and there's our third Black Garden. We are happy to see that. And a second Green Kappa, which is also kind of nice. So, good, pretty decent. We have 2 Stardust Dragon anyway, so I don't really need to worry about the third there. So, let's go ahead and get into the actual packs. Alright, so 24 packs of Generation Force. Let's see what we can get out of here. First pack flip, and nothing too spectacular. However, we do see a Fishing Kicks, which is actually not too bad. If you have 3 or more banished fish, sea serpent, or aqua monsters, you could actually target a card on the field and banish it, which is actually pretty solid, and especially because Ronin Totem is still in the format. That being said, it is going to be a little more tough to actually make use of it. We see Crashbug Y and Crashbug Z, which are actually kind of nice. These little fiends can actually come in handy later down the road, especially given the fact that we have Tour Guide. The only thing is, I want to see a rank 3 Exceeds monster, so that way we could kind of capitalize on them. And then Aqua Jet's actually a pretty nice little spell card as well. You could target a face-up fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster you control, and it gains 1,000 attack permanently. The only thing that sucks is that it's a normal spell and not a quick play spell, but nonetheless, it's still a pretty good card on its own. Ooh, and 4th pack, we get a super rare Gaga Magician. So, like I said, it is a little disappointing that it can't be used as a synchro material. That being said, however, this actually can work really nicely for some synchro play, Exceeds plays, and the fact that we can manipulate its level makes that a lot easier as well. Unfortunately, though, its other stat line is not very good, which kind of bites. And the rest of the pack itself is not too special. We see a Girigiano, which is good to see. And Fission Swaps is actually not too bad either, if I remember correctly. Discard a card to target 2 of your banished fish, sea serpent, or aquas, and add them to your hand. That's actually not terrible, so... Okay, all in all, decent pack. Okay, so we hit a super rare Wind-Up Juggler. I don't remember what this one does. Okay, so after damage calc, if it battles a monster, you can destroy that monster. Not the worst effect, but not the greatest effect, honestly. At best, it's just gonna 1-for-1, so nothing too spectacular. Okay, so we see a Crash Bug X, a Crash Bug Y, another Double or Nothing, and we see a legendary Wind-Up Key, which is actually kind of interesting. You get to change all face-up wind-up monsters you control to face-down defense. Basically, this allows you to reset their effects, which is kind of nice. And that's it? Yeah, it looks like that's it for here. Ooh, Infected Male for another super rare. We're getting some decent super rare luck so far. So what this card does is, once per turn, you can target a level 4 or lower monster you control, and you can attack your opponent directly with it, but then it gets sent to the graveyard at the end of the battle phase. So it's alright, but it definitely has its limits in how useful it can be. We see another Crash Bug X and another Double or Nothing, though, which is nice, and another Crash Bug Y. I think that's our 3rd Y. Oh, shit. Looks like Rye's about to learn what we've got in our back pocket. Ultimate Rare, number 17, Leviathan Dragon. Oh, I'm so glad we pulled this thing. So, this has the effect that once per turn, you can detach a material and it gains 500 attack. However, if it has no material, it can't attack your opponent directly, which... who gives a shit at that point? It has 3,000 points. So, this is actually a really good card for us, and the fact that we have access to a number of fiends, as well as 2 Tour Guide, oh yeah, this thing is going to be incredible. What's the rest of the pack look like for us? Honestly, it doesn't really look like there's anything else important in this pack, which I am okay with. Ooh, another super rare, a blue-blooded Oni. I don't actually know what this card does. When this card is normal or flip summon, it's switched to defense mode. Once per turn, you can detach a material you control to target a level 4 zombie monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. That's actually not that bad. Now, the downside is it has to be level 4 exactly, but that's still actually not too bad. And this actually can work pretty nicely for some zombie support. Looking at the rest of the pack, we see another O-Fish, and we see another Double or Nothing. I think that's our playset by now, so that's kind of nice. All in all, pretty decent cards. Okay, we see another Mask Hero Goka and another Mask Change. I am 99% sure that is our playset of Mask Change already handled. And we see another X and Y. I think we only have one copy of Z at the moment, though. So I kind of want to see a couple more of that. Oh shit, Super Crash Bug, super rare. I am so happy we actually got to see this. So, this is basically the Crash Bug boss monster. It can't be normal summoned or set, it has to be special summoned in face-up defense mode from your hand by banishing an X, Y, and Z Crash Bug from your graveyard. But it has the effect that while it's face-up on the field, all attack and defense of all face-up attack position monsters get swapped. So if this thing lasts a turn, which with 3000 defense it should, if you get it into attack mode, it automatically has 3000 attack points, which is actually really good. That being said, there is no inherent protection on it, so we will have to be mindful of that. Okay, and we see a Sea Lancer. I think that's actually the first one we've pulled, which is kind of disappointing, actually. Because I kind of want to see at least 2 of this thing if we're going to actually try to run the Frog deck back anymore. We do see an Aqua Jet, though, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, yeah, that looks like that's about it for this pack. Okay, so we have 3 packs left of this set, and so far, we've actually pulled some pretty good stuff. We hit Leviathan Dragon, so we have an Xyz monster, and we actually pulled a decent amount of support for different cards we want, so I'm happy to see that. So let's flip our third to last pack. Another Goblinberg, I think that makes our 3rd, which is kind of nice. And it looks like that's about it, unless Wind Up Snail might be important. Yeah, no, it's not all that important. Okay, no big deal. Second to last pack. Let's flip. And, okay, so we see an Air Orca, which, funny enough, is the only Wind Sea Serpent monster in the game, if I remember correctly. And it has the effect that you could banish once per turn a Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua from your hand to bounce a face-up, or to destroy a face-up card your opponent controls, and then banish this card until your next standby phase, which is kind of interesting, but not amazing on its own. And the rest of the pack itself looks kind of meh. So we're on to the last pack. Let's see what we hit. And it doesn't look like we hit anything especially amazing. We do see another Crash Bug Z, so I'm pretty sure that's our playset then, which is actually kind of good because with triple Crash Bug X, Y, and Z, as well as a Super Crash Bug and 2 Tour Guide, I think we actually have some pretty good support to work with here. So, all in all, pretty good pulls. I guess we're just going to have to see what we can come up with out of here. So, guys, we're going to get into deck building, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, so here's the deck we're bringing to tonight's duel, and let me just say, this is going to be an interesting one, to put it nicely. So what you're looking at is basically Fiends / Crash Bugs. So for those of you who don't know, the Crash Bugs are a series of monsters that, when they're normal summoned, can special summon another Crash Bug monster from your deck, as long as you control a different Crash monster from your field already. So like for example, Crash Bug X lets you summon a Z from the deck if you control a Y. Crash Bug Y lets you special summon an X from your deck if you control a Z, and Crash Bug Z lets you summon a Crash Bug Y if you have a Crash Bug X. It is a little convoluted, but it's understandable once you get the basics of it. So the goal of the deck is going to be one of 2 things. Either 1, get a couple of powerful Xyz monsters out to deal with the field, or to drop Super Crash Bug onto the field, who has the effect of switching all monsters' attack and defense points if the monsters are face-up in attack mode. So what that means is, this card will survive, hopefully, for a turn at 3k defense, then we can switch it to attack mode, and it has 3000 attack, and alternatively, anything the opponent summons in attack mode to try to beat over it is effectively going to have over 3000 defense in order to have a chance. So, let's go through the card by card. Starting off, we have 1 Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind. This is a good monster in general. It can act as removal in a sense. It's a level 3 tuner, and it's dark, so that's helpful. Then we have 2 copies of Crash Bug X, 2 copies of Crash Bug Y, and 2 copies of Crash Bug Z. These guys are going to hopefully be the genesis of our Xyz monster, or getting enough levels onto the field to make use of a strong Synchro monster. Next, we have 1 copy of Dark Arm Dragon. Most of the monsters in our main deck here are Dark attributes, so if we can get 3 monsters in the graveyard exactly, we can drop this on the field, clear a couple cards, and then have a 2800 beater on the field ready to go. Next, we have 1 copy of Dark Resonator. This basically will let us survive a battle, and it's a level 3 tuner, which is pretty helpful. 1 Glow Up Bulb. This is one of the few cards in here that isn't a dark monster, but it's a good card. It has a good effect if we could get it into the graveyard, which we have a few ways of doing so. 1 copy of Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness. I am honestly annoyed at the fact that I forgot that we had this thing, and honestly, this is a good card if we have nothing on the field to work with. 2 copies of Krebons, because we need level 2 tuners. It's not a fiend, but it works just as well. 1 copy of Max C, 2 copies of Mystic Tomato, which work not only to summon the Crash Bugs if we need them, but alternatively, they're also a plant, which means we can make use of Black Roach Dragon's special effect. 1 copy of Plague Spreader Zombie, 1 copy of Sandgan, which can pull up pretty much any of the Crash Bugs, including Super Crash Bug. Super Crash Bug himself at 1 copy, 2 copies of Torgai from the Underworld, which can search out any of the Crash Bugs from the deck as well. And Witch of the Black Forest is here at 1 copy as well. For our spells, we have 1 Allure of Darkness, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Giant Trunade, double MST, 1 Pot of Greed, 2 Smash and Ground, and 1 copy of Forceful Sentry. For our traps, we have 1 Call of the Haunted, double Magic Cylinder, Ring of Destruction, double Sakuretsu Armor, and 1 Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Our extra deck is going to have a couple of interesting cards. We have 1 Dark Balter the Terrible and 1 Guiltia the Dark Knight. These are actually here because we have Instant Fusion in our side deck. These guys work not only as level 5s for the sake of having a fairly quick and easy level 8 Synchro Summon, but on top of that, Dark Balter is a dark monster, Guilty is a light, so if we have to go into our side deck for our secondary plan, these guys can come in handy there. We also have Ancient Fairy Dragon, Armory Arm, Black Rose Dragon, Colossal Fighter, Goyo Guardian, 100 Eyes Dragon, I'll explain a bit more on him in a minute, 1 Iron Chain Dragon, 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, 1 Scrap Dragon, double Stardust Dragon, 1 Thought Ruler Archfiend, and our number 17 Leviathan Dragon. For our side deck, we basically have 2 possible deck swaps to work with. The first is our typical lineup. We have Chaos with Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning, double Copycat, double Sidra, DD Warrior Lady, Honest, and Thunder King Ryo. We also have a Cyberjar in case we decide to go into it and Rye's not running some kind of spam-heavy deck. So if he's running something that isn't like Black Wings, for example, then we can bring this in. If he is, well, Cyberjar can stay in the back row. Next, we also have 1 Instant Fusion. This is, again, to help with the Chaos side, because we could get a free level 5 Dark or Light on the field. And then we also have 2 Mystic Plasma Zone, 1 Terraforming, 1 Starlight Road, and 1 Earthbound Immortal Viracocha Raska. The reason for this card is because 100 Eyes Dragon has the effect that if it's destroyed and sent to your graveyard, you get to add an Earthbound Immortal monster from your deck to your hand. Raska can fit that bill, and on top of that, Sandgan and Witch can search it up as well. So if we get this card on the field and we have a field spell active, then we can bounce up to 3 cards back, discard up to 3 cards from Rye's hand. This card gains 1000 attack for each card discarded, and it can attack directly. So best case scenario, we're looking at 3600 attack going direct. And honestly, that might be enough to just win the game for us outright. So we're going to see what happens. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into the next match very shortly, and hopefully we can win this one. If we get start off Zexal era with a win, that's going to be nice. So ladies and gentlemen, it is time to duel.
Wow. Can you believe we're already almost halfway through Progression Series?
I know, it's crazy.
and we have to say goodbye to one era and the start of another. One thing that was not mentioned at all during the beginning of the episode is that we have moved on to Master Rule 2, and there is a big rules change with Master Rule 2.
Oh, yeah.
Ignition effect priority is gone.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
That is going to make cards like Chaos Sorcerer a lot worse.
Yep.
But I am very, very excited to see what you brewed, because I would not be surprised if one or both of us has been waiting until a ban list passed to play a new deck. So I would not be surprised if we see 2 brand new decks today.
That would be kind of fun to see. Let's see what happens. Also, I have this weird glitch going on. I can't see the back of your cards, which is weird.
Alright, that's a good start. We do still get first turn draw, though, so I will take the play. Good luck, Duelist.
Good luck.
Alright, let's go ahead and draw for the turn. Proceed to the standby phase. Proceed to the main phase. I am not super happy with this hand, unfortunately. I am just going to set 2 back row and pass.
Okay. Draw. Standby, main. Let's see. Okay, first, I guess, do I want to push? Yeah, why not? I'm going to start with Giant Trunade.
Sure, everything goes back. Am I dead?
I don't think you're dead.
A Giant Trunade spent on a turn when I'm not dead is, very okay.
Now, let's see what you got.
Well, you're gonna see exactly what is up, and I was wondering when you were gonna see that card again. You're gonna get to see exactly what I'm up to, and you're probably not gonna like it too much.
Ooh, Karakuri. Ooh, that's actually really cool.
This might give you some ideas as to what is going on, and now you see how badly I bricked.
Yeah, that's a bit rough. Ooh, this is actually a tough one. Well, I say tough.
I think I know there's a pretty obvious pick here.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I need to send the Spachi back.
Yep, I was considering just setting it, but...
Okay. Well, I guess I might as well show this off now. I'm going to normal summon Tour Guide from the Underworld.
You got a fucking tour guide too? Jesus Christ, Demon.
Now, in fairness, that was a craft. Anyway,
Jesus.
With it, I'm going to special summon the one I pulled.
Fuck this game.
I wonder how long he's gonna be away.
What the fuck, Demon?
I know, right? And the funny thing is, I honestly was tempted when I got the craft. I was tempted to go for another Max C, but I thought about it, and honestly, this is probably the only time that Tour Guide's gonna be useful. So.
Okay, show me your rank 3.
Well, unsurprisingly, I'm sure you expected that.
Yup, this is a problem.
I will detach one material. And
hey,
then...
I had this in our offline series, so now it's my turn to deal with it.
Didn't you have like 2 of these?
Yeah, I think I pulled 2.
Main 2, I will set a card and throw it to you.
Pretty sure I pulled a Ghost and an Ultra. Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. So here's what we'll do? I am going to space your back row. Boy, it feels so good for Mystical Space Typhoon to be at more than one copy.
It really does. You got my ring.
Cool.
I was honestly tempted to Sentry the MST back, but I figured Nespachi plus Machine Dupe was gonna be bad.
So here is what we're going to do. I'm gonna activate Raikourider Anatomy.
Okay.
I am... This is such a hard decision. I think I really just need a wall up here. I am going to normal summon Inashichi effect.
When this card is normal summoned, add a Karakuri card from your deck to your hand. Alright, that's good.
Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a... This deck is also notoriously difficult to pilot.
Yeah. Yeah, Karakuri is one of those decks where it's a lot of fun if you know how to actually work it, but it takes a lot of skill and thought to actually pilot it correctly.
It does. The lines are really difficult. I am going to grab... Ninishi.
Okay.
Then I'm going to Machine Dupe.
Interesting. Okay, go right ahead.
I'm just going to get 2 more in defense position.
Well, I can safely say I'm glad Inashichi only works on normal summon.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because holy hell.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to give up my Inashichi here and take 2 stacks.
Alright.
Main 2, I'm going to set an additional back row and pass the turn.
Okay. Let's see. I remember you had that quick play one, but I don't remember exactly what it does. Because I know the Inashichi was the new draw. Let's see. This is going to be an interesting challenge. I'm going to go to battle, and I'll go ahead and clear out one of the Inashichis.
Sure.
Main phase 2, I'm going to set a card, and then run out a Krebons.
Sure.
And I will throw the turn to you.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. I am going to... Boy, this doesn't feel very good, but it's what I have to do. I'm going to go ahead and switch this Inashichi to attack position, trigger Karakuri Anatomy.
Okay.
I am going to normal summon Ninishi.
Okay.
I'm going to additional normal summon tribute Inashichi for Nanashik.
When this card's normal summon, you could draw a number of cards equal to a number of face-up defense position Karakuris. Okay.
I wanted to do that with the Machine Dupe, but I didn't really get a chance to. Could have drawn a couple cards off it, but I specifically need the tuner. I'm gonna synchro.
So you're going into an 8.
It's gonna be Burrito.
Burrito. Okay. So when it's synchro summon, you get special summon a Karakuri.
I get the special summon a Karakuri from deck.
And then draw a card whenever a Karakuri's mode switches. Okay.
Correct. I'm gonna go ahead and grab myself. What do I want? I did leave the second one in here, didn't I? I'm gonna grab Nanashik.
Okay.
Then I am going to proceed to the battle phase. Burrito into number 17, so you'll take 300, but your number 17 will not die.
I'm going to activate my Scrap Iron Scarecrow.
That's pretty good. Yeah, Scrap Iron Scarecrow is pretty good. I am going to do 800 too, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and activate Creepons for that.
Yep. Second main. I think I'm just going to pass.
Okay. So, draw. Standby, main.
You having a 1-card rank 3 that you can pull out at any time is so scary. There's a reason why Tour Guide was a $300 card.
Yeah. Okay, that's not a terrible idea. Okay, I'm going to set a monster, and I'm going to activate Leviathan Dragon, do I want to, though? I don't remember what that stupid quick play does. But if I can get rid of one of the Karakuris, that helps. Yeah, you know what? Hell with it. I'm gonna detach. So Leviathan goes up to 3k.
And can no longer attack directly.
And let's clear out Burrito.
Damage step.
Alright.
I will activate Harakiri Gold Dust.
During the battle.
I will target Burrito and Nanashik.
Change one of the monsters to defense. The other gains attack equal to the attack of the monsters changed to defense until the end phase. Okay.
So that's targeting both my monsters.
Okay.
So if that resolves...
So that means that your monster's going up to 5k.
That is correct.
And you get to draw a card.
Yes, and then it will also trigger Burrito. It will trigger Karakuri Anatomy and Burrito. So I get to draw a card.
Alright. And Leviathan's gone.
Oh, so glad I dealt with that thing.
Alright, I'll end my turn.
Alright, draw for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. I'm going to switch Nanashik back to attack position, trigger Burrito.
Okay.
I will activate Anatomy.
And draw 2. Alright.
Draw a couple. What is your set is the question. Like, your set monster kind of scares me. So I think the play is going to be... Nisamu.
Okay.
I'm going to proceed to battle. And then I think I'm just going to drain your life points a bunch. I know you have a Scrap Iron Scarecrow set.
Okay.
So ultimately what's going to happen is these attacks are going to get negated by Scrap Iron Scarecrow and Krebons. So I'll deal you effectively 1600 damage.
Right. Okay.
I think that's better than attacking an unknown monster with this giant board. Main 2, I got 2 back row for you.
Okay. Draw.
I mean,
Standby main.
well, the Nisamu and the Nanashik have to attack anyway.
Yeah.
That I don't have a choice.
Ooh. Do I want to do that? Well, let me think. What? Okay, I could do that. Alright. I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna activate Allure of Darkness.
Lure's fine. Something tells me you blind Allured if you're that desperate.
I didn't blind Allure, but I need to decide here.
I also still really don't know what you're up to. Because you're obviously playing Tour Guide because it's a 1-card rank 3.
I guess well, he's not going to be useful right now, so I'm going to banish my Super Crash Bug.
That's a card.
I'm going to flip summon my Crash Bug Y. I'm going to normal summon my Crash Bug Z.
Well, that's a thing.
And I'm going to sync away...
Wait, this is a...
8.
8? Okay.
For...
Which 8 are you making is the question.
I think I'm going to go for my Scrap Dragon.
On summon, Compulse.
Ooh.
No priority for you, buddy!
Yep. And let's see. On board you have exactly lethal, so yeah, that's all I got.
Oh. Okay, I still really don't know what you're up to, is the scary part.
Okay. So Karakuri's.
Yeah, they're a very tricky deck to pilot, that if you know the combos, they can be quite strong.
Oh, definitely.
They've had a couple of stints of competitive viability around this era.
True. Alright. So let's see. Draw, standby main. God damn, this is not quite the start I wanted to see, but alright, let's start with the Forceful Sentry. Let's see what you're rocking.
Again? I really need to ban this card.
Desynchro. Okay. Nisamu.
Yeah, when is that card ever used for something fair?
True. So let's see. Nisamu is basically a recruiter. Psychic Commander is obvious. Karakuri Anatomy here.
Anatomy is basically Six Samurai United.
Pretty much. I think I'm gonna send Nisamu back.
Sensible.
Because it at least blanks one of your cards somewhat. And then I am going to set 3 cards and pass the turn.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Let's go ahead and activate Karakuri Anatomy.
Okay.
Let's normal summon Queek.
Okay.
Battle. Not like I have a choice.
Let's see.
It's 17.
I'm gonna Saku that.
Sure. Main 2. Set a back row, could be anything.
Could be anything. Standby main. Ugh. I think I'm just gonna pass.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. I'm gonna go for Psychic Commander.
Okay.
Battle.
Alright.
14. Got another sack?
I have my Scrap Iron Scarecrow.
It's gross. Go!
This thing has been a powerhouse for me lately.
Oh yeah, Scrap Iron Scarecrow is really annoying and limited. It's very strong.
I think I'm just going to pass again. I'm kind of struggling a little here.
Sounds like we're both bricking then. Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Apparently I can't draw anything but tuners today. Crabons?
Yeesh. Okay.
Battle phase?
Alright.
12.
I will Scrap Iron that.
Interesting. You have double Scrap Iron?
I have a Magic Cylinder.
Sure, 14 in. I am very okay with that. It's not a sack. Go ahead.
Alright. Draw.
I gotta play through these back row.
Ooh, there's an option. I'm going to Smash and Ground.
That will take out the Psychic Commander.
I will run out a Dark Designator, Dark Resonator.
Dark Resonator, huh? Sure, that's fine.
Battle phase.
Battle phase is fine.
Okay. I'm going to attack.
I will declare effective Prebons.
And in response, I will chain Book of Moon, targeting Krebons.
That's pretty good. And then I'll take 13.
Oh, no. No. You don't take 13.
Oh, right, I don't take 13.
Yeah. He just flips the defense and he gets run over.
Right, I don't know why I thought Book of Moon was like a actual removal card. It
Nope.
usually is. Draw for turn.
I was gonna say, note to
standby
self, note to self, start using Offerings to the Doomed again.
Set a back row.
Alright. Well, you ran yours, I'll run mine.
I'm just gonna Dredgel this.
Okay.
I think that's right, because that's just too much pressure.
Yeah, fair enough.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. I'm gonna go ahead and just space the back row.
Yeesh, alright.
Let's go ahead and normal Inashichi effect.
Okay.
I'll grab myself a copy of... There's a couple different lines I'm considering. Let's go ahead and grab Queek. Go to battle, hit for 5.
Alright. So I'll take 5. And
You have like a trag or something?
I have a Boars,
God damn it!
which I completely forgot I had one of from a while back.
Jesus Christ, Gores. That sucks. Go!
I mean, in fairness, the token is practically nothing anyway.
Yeah, it's just a 500.
Okay.
It's just, how do I out Gores?
Battle. Let's clear it out.
This will shift to defense, trigger anatomy, and Inashichi will fall.
Alright, and I'll pass the turn.
Card for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. Let's go ahead and run out Queek.
Okay.
Go to battle. Let's run over this token.
Alright, token is gone.
Trigger Queek.
It does
really...
not actually work.
Oh, right, that does not actually trigger because it's...
It wasn't...
Tokens don't go to the graveyard. I have been playing a lot of other card games where tokens go to the graveyard, so... yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll just pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. That's interesting. Let's see, this is a pain in the ass. It's the fact that it makes it so much harder to actually clear out damage, but... I have to go for it, so let's take out the Queek.
Sure. Queek shifts, trigger anatomy, Queek down.
Alright. Main phase 2. I think I'll just pass.
Draw for turn, standby, main, activate anatomy.
Yep, get your pot agreed.
Draw a couple. Wow, this is very bad. Activate anatomy.
Oh, damn.
Set a back row. Pass the turn.
Okay. Draw.
This is very bad.
Let's space the back row.
Sure, it's desynchro.
Okay. Standby, main. I guess I'll just go for battle.
27.
And I'll pass the turn.
Draw for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. Set one. Go.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. Okay, that's about damn time. Battle phase. Let's swing in.
I go to no effects.
Alright.
So I'll go to 4.
Yep. Main phase 2. I will set a card and pass the turn.
Alright, need a good one off the top here. Hoop! I don't think that gets there. Standby main. I mean, I'm not dead. Special Sidra.
Okay.
Tribute. For Nanashik.
Okay.
I will go to battle. Nanashik into your set.
Well, you're getting rid of Gores, finally.
Oh, Cyberchar. That's A-okay. See what we get here. Yeah, oh, how many darks do you have in your grave? Too many, okay. So you have Gale and Krebons. I guess I just run out these... Nisamu. Yeah, I think I just run the Nisamus out here.
Okay. And then
put the rest of the stuff in my hand.
So you have
Gold Dust. It's Gold Dust Machine Duke Sidra.
Okay.
And then I have... I think you know that I have a Desynchro in my hand, and the rest of my hand, I believe, is unknown.
Okay. So for here... So, Dark Arm's gonna go to hand. Smashing goes to hand. Ring goes to hand.
I just friggin' dead to that stupid ring. Okay. Still in battle. Still in battle. Since I have to attack, I'm gonna go ahead and just clear out this Gale.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna hit the Krebons, and you're gonna pay 100 life points, probably.
Yeah.
Main 2. I am going to activate Karakuri Cash Cash.
Ooh.
Targeting Nisamu.
Okay.
So I'm going to grab Ninishi, shift Nisamu to defense, trigger anatomy.
Alright.
I'm actually going to anatomy for 1 here.
Okay.
I have 1, 2, 3 back row for you. Go ahead.
Okay. Draw. Standby main. Alright. I'll set 1, 2, and 3 cards. Pass to you.
Draw for turn. I have Judgment for that, thank God. So I don't die.
Okay.
I just have to figure out how I want to go about this now. Standby, anything?
Nope, you're good.
Main. I'm going to go ahead and just Giant Trunade. Get these back row out of here.
Alright.
I bet you forgot I had one.
Kinda did, not gonna lie.
It was a common in one of the reprint sets. Let's go ahead and normal summon Ninishi. Then I'm going to Machine Dupe.
Ooh.
This is gross.
Well, in fairness, you only get the effect once, so...
That's not why. It's just all the tuners.
True.
So I'm going to go for a 7 here. Which 7 do I want is the question.
Black Rose blow up the board.
So that seems terrible. I'm gonna go for Beret here. I got this idiot too.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to reveal right away that I had Beret and Beredo, but there's no way I'm not gonna play this deck after pulling both of those.
Yeah.
Trigger Beret, special a Karakuri from deck.
Okay.
Which is going to be Nanashi. Then I'm gonna sink 8. I just want to see what I got. Did I use my... Yeah, I've used them both, so I actually can't extend this combo any further. I think I'm just gonna get... Grap here. Then... What did I make the beret with? I think it was... it was Nisamu and Nishi. Nisamu and Nishi. As it turns out, the combo lines in this deck are really difficult. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set a card, then I'm going to activate Scrap Dragon.
Okay.
Target my back row and your Krebons.
Alright.
This is my dead emergency teleport. Then I am going to... You've already used Gores. I think Gores is still limited. I can't remember if Gores is limited. I think Gores is still limited. What could you have? Sorry, I'm still figuring out this. This is a very complicated line.
No problem.
I'm gonna desynchro the beret.
Okay.
So this will go back to extra, because guess what? Beret and Beredo are not hard once per turn for some reason. Then I'm just gonna resync for Beret, trigger Beret.
Alright.
Special a what do I want to go into is the question. I'm still figuring out what I want to go into. I think I'm going to go into Inashichi, actually. And then I'm going to make a 5.
A 5? Oh, Android.
Yeah, it's Android. Let's go to battle.
Alright.
14.
You got it. I'll be entirely honest, the whole time I'm sitting here like, he has no idea. Like, you didn't even have to pop your emergency teleport. You could have just popped Nanishi and, or, wait, is it? Yeah, Nanishi and Krebons, and you had 100 over lethal. This whole time.
I was mostly trying to play around, like, some hand traps. Because I know there are hand traps out there. But, yeah, I had Gold Dust, too, just in case you made something big.
Right.
Because I could not remember if Gores was limited. I think Gores is still limited. The other card in my hand was Cyber Dragon. I had a Cyber Dragon and double Gold Dust.
See,
Gold Dust is so gross in this deck.
It can be. Now, the funny thing is, I only have one Gores anyway, so I don't know if it's limited or not. But, here's something funny. I fucked up and missed lethal. Because I had this in hand.
Oh my god.
Now, here's the other part that's funny.
Oh, you were playing Wiriko Churaska? That's hilarious.
I figured between Cyberjar and, like, the way I can get, like, other monsters on the field anyway, as well as Krebons being able to kind of blank attacks, I figured I might be able to get him out on the field. But yeah, honestly, I didn't expect Gores to actually get in to knock you down to 4. If I had known that was going to happen, I would have just flipped over a Mystic Plasma Zone right away and been done with it, but oh well.
And, I was not expecting the Condor to come out after we left New Domino City, I'll tell you that much. So some of the really, I think you got to see most of the cool synergies, like the Nanishi, the Inashichi, and I think there's one other one in this deck, that all work really well with machine duplication.
Yep.
And what's really neat about Nanishi in particular is if I need to wall up, I can actually machine duplication the Nanichi and go into number 34 Terabyte.
Oh, you actually pulled a Terabyte. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that
cool.
that was the only Xyz monster that I got. It's probably the worst one just because of how hard it is to make.
True.
Because it requires 3 materials, but with machine Okay, so the thing that's so disgusting about Beret and Beredo is that their effects are not once per turn. So you can actually go into. I'll just let you know that I only have one Beredo. Because when you have multiple Beredo in your extra deck, is when things get really disgusting with machine duplication. Because you can machine dupe the Nanishi, sync it off with like anything like Sidra even into Beredo. I actually wanted to play Instant Fusion in this deck, but I found out I did not have a single copy of Cybersaurus in my collection, which is a Metal Raiders common, by the way.
Wow.
Because that was the initial plan, is I wanted to those 3 Sidras in this deck, they should not be in here. Those should be Instant Fusion, so that I can grab Cybersaurus out of my extra deck, and then use that to go into Beredo. And then with the machine duplications in the deck, if you have multiple copies of Beredo, you can go into Beredo with the 2 Nanishi on the board, special summon a Nanashik from your deck, and use that to make another Beredo. It's disgusting.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. Karakuri is such a fun concept and an amazing archetype. It's just, you definitely have to stop and think every time you play just to make sure you're doing things right.
There's so many lines, and another issue with this particular version of the deck, by having Sidra instead of Instant Fusion to get your Cybersaurus, this deck is so bricky at times.
Right.
But I still think that this version of the deck is very, very strong. And that, I'm pretty sure it was that Damage Step Gold Dust on the number 17 that won me this match.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the thing. I couldn't remember what the card did, and I didn't feel like pulling it up to find out, to double check.
Yeah, it's a huge combat trick.
So I'll definitely have to keep that in mind for down the road.
Other than like the crash bugs, I didn't really get to see what you were up to too much. It looked mostly like good stuff.
Honestly, that's kind of what it was. It was basically like a Fiend theme, crash bug theme, because like, that actually makes
a ton of sense with your number 17. With your number 17 and your double tour guide, you can just rank 3 span.
Yeah, that's kind of the sad part. It's the fact that I only have the one number 17 anyway. But I figure between Dark Resonator, Krebons, Plague Spreader, my typical lineup, I can get some decent synchros going, and then on top of that...
Yeah, you can spam the hell out of synchros.
And and the nice thing, too, with the crash bugs is that, like, granted, it requires you already having one on the field established in order to start looping, but it's kind of like the gadgets. You could get extra monsters out and have tribute fodder, or you could have synchro fodder or something, which... Ooh, you got an Orient Dragon.
That is the first secret rare I have pulled since secret rares were reintroduced to the game. It's ridiculous.
And it's a good one, especially because, like, that's the thing.
Oh, this card's disgusting.
Oh, yeah, especially considering the fact that our synchro pool is going to stay good for a long while, like at least until Link format. So Orient Dragon is going to be a scary thing.
Yeah, Orient Dragon's disgusting. And it's actually kind of difficult for this deck to make Orient Dragon, because this deck mostly focuses on 7s and 8s. I actually have one copy of... I was playing a single copy of Shinkaro, which is the only one I pulled because it's a rare. But I was playing a single copy of Shinkaro to search off of Beredo and Bure to be able to make 6s easily. This card is not actually very good. I just need it specifically for its level.
Right.
But, well, now that you know what's up, maybe you'll be able to prepare against this deck a little bit better, because, oh my god, this deck... You didn't even get to see the half of how explosive this deck can be.
Well, here's the problem. There is a very easy way to counteract this deck. Unfortunately, you already banned the damn thing. Chimera Tech.
Yeah, why do you think I banned Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon? Because I want to play machine decks. You know how many machine decks I've tried to play in Prague? I think this is the 3rd different machine deck I've tried to play.
This is going to be interesting. Like, man, I guess I'm going to have to start worrying about system down again, which kind of sucks, because that's a couple of slots in the deck I don't like having taken up.
I'm very surprised after I played Morphtronic you didn't start putting system down in your side deck. Well, either that or you just didn't draw it.
Well, the thing is, like I said, I don't like having system down constantly taking up side deck spaces when I'm not really expecting it to be there.
That makes sense.
On top of that, too, the problem with Morphtronics specifically is roughly half of them aren't even machines. A lot of them are Thunder, and I think in the case of Datatron, for example, is Pyro. So, like, a few of the key cards are machines, but a lot of their extra support aren't, which kind of makes system down a lot less useful. Okay, so unfortunately that didn't really work out as I had hoped it would, but that's not that big a deal. So we're back onto the catch-up wheel yet again, and as you can see, we have ourselves a slight improvement here. So, as I mentioned, the any cards have been buffed a little bit. We have our new Starlight Wedge, and the reprint side set wedge has actually been up to 12 packs for the catch-up wheel itself. So, we're gonna spin this and see what we can hit. We only get one spin, so we have to make sure it count. We have to make it count. Oh. 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 That's gonna be something to come up with. Okay, so I thought about it, and honestly, as much as I would really like to pick some stuff up for the Six Samurai deck, I kind of feel like I'd be remiss to not pick up a second Maxi. Maxi doesn't get limited or banned for a very long time anyway, and 2 copies of this is actually going to make it a bit more consistent. And quite frankly, I feel like this is going to drive Rai insane. So you know what? Fuck it. We're going to pick up a second copy of this card. So with that being said, guys, next episode is Photon Shockwave. I have a couple of interesting ideas on what we can do for that set. So we'll see what happens next week. Have a great night, everyone.